Big Brother All-Stars. I really like this season of Big Brother, actually. And hopefully I'll be able to look back on it in future years and actually still like it, unlike both of Survivor's All-Star seasons, more on that later. So, how the contestants, were picked and all that, and the possible people to be in the house, that really didn't bother me. I thought it was pretty cool that the viewers had the opportunity to choose who to be back and all that. Yeah, there were people that I did not want to see back. Diane, Allison, Dana, Yvette, Will, Boogie, and when I first saw Chicken George, I go, but what happened to you, man? Just you look like a blubbering mess, and that's exactly what he was. So, yeah, ridiculous. But I have one problem. Why the heck did they have it be 8 guys versus 6 girls? For crying out loud, this isn't like Top Shot where the vast majority of people that would apply to the show would be males and all of that. I'm pretty sure Big Brother gets an even amount of male and female applicants. So why the heck won't you have it that way and all that? Just, oh yeah. But once they were in the house, I really enjoyed what was happening there. Given the fact that we know all these characters and their personalities, it makes the dynamics a lot more fun to watch. The forming of relationships, the battles and the games and all of that, the cool twists, the coup d'etat, that is actually pretty ingenious, and I'll be anxious to see what happens when it's used in future seasons, because, yes, I looked it up, and I do know that it's brought back for future seasons, and since it'll be a regular thing, it will be used eventually. Then there was the, nullify the votes and all that prize veto competition, 2 head of households at once, the condensing of a whole week of Big Brother into one episode, pretty clever actually, and that helps account for why you had 14 people at the beginning and not 12, because had there been 12 people, they probably wouldn't have done that. So I think that covers up a lot of it. So once the season started, I actually was for the season 6 people, controlling the house, even though there were people that weren't season 6 that I really liked and all that. But they got rid of some of the people that I was anxious to see get rid of. Allison and Diane, I really did not want to see them continue in this game, so I was glad to see them go. Nicole, Mez, and Jace, I was disappointed. Nicole was because she got so far that she's cut short, but that's what happens on an All-Star season. And Jace, because, man, just James. Okay, that was a bad decision there, James. And what really sucks is that this time Jace was the good guy. He wasn't doing anything evil at all. Sad. But then the season 6 alliance crumbles, sort of like they did last time, except this time there's not any real big cause for it, because in season 6 it was pretty obvious what caused them to crumble. Howie putting up James and Sarah, but here it happened for really no reason, from what I can remember. So I was disappointed because this group was actually the group I was rooting for in that season. After that, I have to admit though, even though the season 6 people crumbled, it actually made everything happening a lot more interesting to watch. All the Janelle versus James dynamics, and then right while those two started going on against each other, I actually began to like what Chilltown was doing, because you gotta remember, I wasn't a fan of Chilltown when I saw Big Brother 2, because I hated Justin, I hated Shannon, I wanted to like Boogie, but he was so arrogant, I didn't like him. Cheryl, well, who gives about her, because she was first out, and then Will, I never really liked him until the top 5, where the negative tone kind of mellowed out a little bit, and then a bigger problem emerged in the house, so there you go. But here, I actually began to like what Will and Boogie were doing, because Will, he's doing the same game, sort of, and everyone knows that, but they keep passing him off because they know that there's actually more stressful people there, because Will, what he's doing is predictable, even though it's working. Everyone else, they're not as predictable. And Boogie, well, yes, he's playing Will's game again, but here it actually felt like he had a good equal relationship with Will. Can't really comment that much on most of the reboots that much. Marcellus, I actually knew he was going to be eliminated at around that time. Uh, Howie, well, given how arrogant he was this season, I'm glad he left, because, yeah, I gotta admit, Howie, he really downturned his image, even though he did kind of in Season 6, but I don't like Season 6. I actually think it's the worst season of Big Brother, because I can't really give it that many pros other than the fact that we got pretty interesting characters that were brought back this season. And then James's fight to stay alive. That's really it. Even though the winner of 6 is better than the winner of Season 4, but then again, they're the worst 2 winners. James, and then Danielle, that sucked, because those two are the best players to have played this game and never won, and James, he got the same place he did last time and left for basically the same reasons. Really sucked. George, I've already discussed George, and probably Mess. When he left, I just went, hallelujah! Right. And then the season gets interesting in the final 4. Now, first of all, when I got to this point in the season, the person I was actually most rooting for was Erica, okay? Now, I'll get back to that. I was actually hoping that Chilltown would get stopped, even though I did like what they were doing this time. When Janelle won the veto, what I expected her to do was save herself. Of course, Will has to go up. And then she votes to evict Erica. But then Erica is able to piece together that Chilltown has actually been manipulating them, and that also they keep following Chilltown. One, neither of them were going to make it, and even in the remote possibility one of them did, it actually wouldn't look that good since they didn't rebel. So she's able to convince Janelle to do what everyone most likely would do if they won the Final Four veto: save themselves and vote for the person that replaces them, in this case being Will. But I gotta admit, when Will got eliminated, I was disappointed. I'm dead serious. I did not like Will the first time, but here, when he left, and you might not have noticed, but that is the only vote to leave the house he got the entire season. And in Big Brother 2, he only got 1 vote, also. So, against more people, even more obvious a threat that he was in Big Brother 2, because he actually did manage to lay low for quite a few episodes before he got noticed, and then he laid low again. Here, he was out in the open for almost the entire show, and then he gets all the way to the top 4, and then cut short. So when he left, I was very disappointed, even though I wanted Erica to win. In the final 3, I was actually hoping that the girls would be able to beat Boogie, so I was disappointed when he won a head of household. I was glad that he evicted Janelle, because I didn't like her as much this season, but when she left, I go, you know what? I don't like you as much this season, but ironically, I think you deserve it even more this time. Doesn't that say something? Then in the final 2, well, it became obvious that Boogie was going to beat Erica, and he did. Now, I'm not completely bummed by the fact that he won, because he did deserve it this time, and I did like him a lot better. But I feel that we could have had a better winner for 2 reasons. One, yes, I like Erica more than him, because, well, yes, it's just because I flat out like Erica better, but 2, Erica was, doing her own game, even though she did align with Will, but come on, you kind of have to align with somebody in this game, or at least try and align and just have it not work out for you, alright? And then also, she was on the block so many times because she was nominated, what, 6 times? 5 if you don't count the veto? And then Boogie was nominated, what, once, twice? I don't know. But also, even though I would have preferred Erica to win over Boogie, we still could have had a better winner, because if I had to rank the top 7 people, Boogie would be 6th and most deserving, and Erica would be 5th. George is 7th. So we could have had a better winner in James, Danielle, Janelle, and Will. So, ironically, knowing how the season turned out, I actually wish Janelle would have evicted Erica instead of Will, and that it would have been a battle for Chilltown versus Janelle for the final head of household, because either Janelle would have won head of household, who cares who she evicts, and she would have won the game, or she would have lost the head of household competition, and Will would have won again. That would have been a much better scenario, if you ask me. So ultimately, that one gripe there is that we could have had a better winner, even though I feel both members of the final 2 deserved it. So, tying back into this season compared to both of Survivor's All-Star seasons, less people downturned themselves, because the only 2 people that really downturned themselves were Howie and George, but who gives about George? Yes, Erica and Janelle did downturn themselves a bit, and so did James and Janelle, but James and Janelle did it in Season 6 also, then I forgave them. And then Erica, well, I don't know, I just don't think I can complain that much, given that I stated those better winners than her, as you guys already know. And this time I did feel like both of the final 2 deserved it, even though, yes, like with both of the Survivor All-Star seasons, the second choice of the final 2 won. But unlike those All-Star seasons, the most deserving person to win wasn't in the final 2 this time. You should be able to figure it out. So, still, despite that one real gripe, I really like this season, and I think it's my second favorite season of Big Brother. The only one that beats it is Season 3, for basically the same reason, if you ask me. Well, this was a bit of a long video, but I don't think I could do this season justice without talking for a long time about everyone's performance. See you guys.